there friends, Nibs again. Out in the garage today doing a little bit of goofing around. Today is a pretty rainy and soggy day outside, so I'm not going to be heading out to the range for any shooting today. Might do some in the garage here just to play around, but I'm not sure I'll capture any of that on camera. But this has been something I wanted to do for a while now, and I figured with the nice rainy day, why not get out to the garage with a nice hot cup of coffee and do a little book review for you guys. This is going to be one, probably one of my favorite books in my library that I have on gun books. And what we have here is and if you collect old scopes, this is really kind of an invaluable tool, I guess you'd call it. But this is a book made by Nick Stroebel. He came out with these, I think, back in the 90s, and he's put out several different. There's been several different revisions of it, and this particular one was actually has a copyright date of 2000. So when you get one of these, I don't know if there's any newer revisions or what the newest revision is, but I know that it's been out of print for quite a while. So if you do get one of these, there are some suggestions of price and value and stuff, so you have to take those with a grain of salt. But the other information you get here, when they were made, some of the features of them, what they'll mount on, and all that sort of thing is really invaluable. So as long as you know to take the values with a grain of salt, these books are excellent. You can find these still on eBay. I just looked before I started, and I found one for like 60, one for like 80, and depending on the condition of it, it's probably around where you're going to pay. There's a couple different sections in here. We'll go through them real quick. I'm not going to talk in length about them, but the first section is talking about different aspects of lenses and coatings and different chromatic aberration, all sorts of different stuff like that, and different powers, but then it has three actual sections that go over, first of all, scopes from A to Z, all sorts of manufacturers, the different companies that made scopes and what they made and over the years that they made it. And it's pretty comprehensive. The one scope that I have not been able to find in this book is this one out here that's actually on my Sears Ranger, which is a store copy of the Stevens Model 416. And this particular scope is made by the Carolyn Company, and it's not in here. But this is a really cool scope. Not to divert over, but this one's a pretty cool scope. This little knob right here is actually to adjust the power, and this goes from 3 to 6 power. And from what I've been able to read online about this particular one is one of the first, if not the first, scopes with an adjustable power. Up until this point, they were all a fixed power scope, ranging from 3 up to in the 20s, I guess. So Carolyn is not in this book. If anybody has any information about another name for that might show up in here that I can cross-reference, that'd be cool to know about. So section 1 is the brands of scopes. Section 2 is the brands of types of mounts. So sometimes you'd buy a scope like this Weaver, and you would need a scope to mount it to the gun. And so in here it has all the different companies that made the mounts, and there's actually 2 sections where it shows where the mount, well, it shows the mount and then what kind of gun it would mount to if the gun was already from the factory with pre-drilled for a scope mount like this. And then section 3 is different types of accessories and attachments that you could get for scopes. And one of the biggest ones is, and I didn't bring it out, let me go grab it real quick. Stand by. Alrighty, so I'm back. I had to grab this, wanted to grab this scope so you guys could see what I was talking about. So one of the section 3 is the attachments and accessories. One of the bigger ones that I've been using this for is for these attachments that were made by Litschert, and this one's called a Varmint Master, and they made them for several different scopes, but I've mostly found them for these Weaver K4s. And what you would do is you actually remove the front lens off this Weaver K4, and they had this particular one in a 6X or an 8X, and I'm assuming it turns it from a 4 to a 6 or 8X, because it's definitely not multiplying the 4X times 6 to 24 power. That's not what's happening here. But this one's not marked whether it's a 6 or 8X, but by comparing it to one of my other K4s, it definitely looks like it's a 6, so probably an extra 2 power. It's not, I don't think it's doubling it, so I don't believe it's going to 8X, but these are pretty cool. And the other thing that it gives you is they come with an adjustable objective, so that you can better focus at a specific range. But again, not trying to focus too much on the actual scopes, but more so the book. But it's pretty cool. I've used it to identify quite a few scopes that I've collected over the years. Got Weaver G4 out here on my Savage NRA, Litschert or fecker, older fecker, you know, long tube. It's the only one I got out here that, because all the rest of them were on guns. I guess I did the Litscherts on the Weaver K4. Mossberg scopes, they have a good section on the Mossberg scopes in there, and I've got my Mossberg number 6 out here just to show you. Lyman 422 Expert, pretty cool. So anyway, so you can really kind of narrow down, you know, when your scope was made, and like I said, that it does give values in here, but the values of scopes have shot right out of the ballpark as far as what's shown in here. So Lymans, they show like $150 to $200, and those things are a lot more than that on eBay right now. But so this one here, I have had this one for quite a few years now. This one was actually, and I don't know if this is something that Nick did when he sent out all the books, but this one's actually signed by the writer back in 8/15 of 2000. It wasn't inscripted to me, but it's still pretty cool that it was signed by the, it probably makes it worth about 3 cents more. But one of the other things that Nick has put out, and I'll do a separate review on this one someday, is he has a book on old gun sights, which is all on the front screen here. It shows all kinds of peep sights, but that's not the only thing that's in there. They have barrel mounted sights, tang mounted sights, front sights, rear sights, just about everything you could imagine, as far as going way back into the 1800s all the way till probably the 1970s. Well, it says 1965, but that one is very comprehensive as far as gun sights go. I'm not quite as involved with collecting older gun sights like that. I do have a couple of old guns with tang mounted sights and barrel mounted aftermarket sights, and I thought that would be pretty interesting to be able to look that up, and if I did find stuff at a gun store, I'd be able to hopefully identify it. But I'm really a kind of a scope snob, I guess you could say. So I really had to have that book. At some point, Nick did put out a composite book where it was scopes and gun sights, and I don't have that book, so I can't really comment on whether it just basically took these two books and you know, did like a deck of cards and shuffled them together, or if there's less there than, you know, it would have been in either one of the ones separately. But maybe one day I'll find one cheap on eBay and I'll grab that one. But for now, I think these 2 volumes are invaluable if you're an older gun collector, because once you're a gun collector, you're going to want to put some sights or a scope on it and make it useful for yourself. And that's where I've really jumped in, you know, feet first into this scope collecting realm. I have a couple other books that are good for antique scopes as well, but these ones are by far the best reference. So anyway, I don't want to make this video too long, but I did want to do a review on this book. It's something I've been meaning to do for a while now. I've got a couple other books that I really want to do a review on as well. One of the ones I really want to do is kind of the namesake of this channel, Walnut and Steel. There's 2 volumes out, and I'll be doing a review on those 2 as well. I really like those books as well. But anyway, I hope you liked the video. If you did, like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you go on eBay and find yourself one of these books. Till next time, have a great day.